Oh man. Hello, hello. I don't know if anyone's even around yet. Gonna give it like a minute or so because this is unannounced, so I'm expecting people to show up slowly. But we'll see. Hola, hola. Good to see you, my friend. I'm here, hey, hey. Nice, nice. As long as Augustine is here, we're all good. Hey Don, really appreciate these vids. I appreciate you coming by, my friend. Before I start, shout out to the sponsor of the show, which is Blockfolio, even though this is not the show, but still like to keep in the habit before I forget at some point. Their links are in the description if you want to check them out. They still do the portfolio tracking, all that kind of stuff, and they now also offer trading there. Worth checking by. How you doing, Don? Good. Better. Much better. Medicine's working. Taking it chill has also been working. So, yeah. Dump it, Donald. It's not the plan, but I mean, this looks pretty shit. We'll talk about it. Just like we talked about the Vitalik news yesterday. Kind of missed the Elon news. They came right afterwards. But, I mean, Bitcoin didn't look good yesterday, right? It hasn't been looking good for a while now. And like I said yesterday, the disconnect between Bitcoin and the altcoins is something to always worry about when you see it. I mean, you just got to be a little bit careful, right? And I mean, that's what we've been seeing in the last few days, or last few weeks, really, where altcoins have been going mental, Bitcoin hasn't. Makes me think that Bitcoin's distributing because, I mean, usually when you have altcoins move, that creates some drag on Bitcoin. Whenever it's not the case, I'm expecting people are selling their Bitcoin. Now, right now, we're at support, right? And you could argue, okay, we wiped all the stops below the support, so up it goes. But I don't really think so. I don't like I've been talking about this a lot, but I hate whenever you have a support that gets tested and then it bounces and it gets tested again, right? It just looks and feels really weak. Now it's still support and it still can produce bounce. It's just, I mean, the more often this gets tested, the worse it gets, right? And the shorter the time in between these tests is, the worse it is too. So I'm not a fan. I don't really see a good point in being too bullish before we actually start wiping even the high time frames. And with that, I mean, you just have to look at the monthly time frame, right? You look at this, and you're like, okay, this looks completely healthy, and the pullback of like a few candles would make a lot of sense. Now that would be a lot of pain on the low time frames, but that doesn't really matter, right? You can't have a million months up and never down, right? Now, I mean, we have had that. I'm just not expecting it to continue forever. So that doesn't mean the bull market's over. It doesn't have to mean anything. It just means a few candles down would make sense to me. And I mean, the same thing is true on the weekly. And something that we haven't talked about, which I usually like to meme about, is that there's a head and shoulders on the way. Is there a better time frame to show it on? Yeah. And that would actually be pretty nice if that broke, and then people are expecting like super low, right? Because I mean, the target of this head and shoulders, even if you take the closes, what is it like? Yeah, like 29k, 30k ish. I think that's too low. I think 38k to like this entire box is pretty good. Doesn't mean we have to go there. It just means, I mean, it's the nearest support, and it's time that we take a breather, kind of get the new people accustomed to like 40% drops before further upside. Stream issues, yeah. My entire city's been having issues. I hope it's somewhat okay. Let me know. But yeah, I'm not sure if you all got that part. I hope you did. I don't want to repeat it. But yeah, let me know. Let me know how long I cut out for, because fucking hell. I hate when I have internet issues, and I even hate it more when it's not my fault. But yeah. What about ETH and altcoins? Yeah, let's talk about those in a second. I'm not gonna be on for long today, so just gonna make it count. In general, the Elon news with regards to Bitcoin being environment unfriendly, whatever, right? Whether that's true or not doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter, obviously. We don't want to be the planet destroying apes in the crypto sphere, right? But the meme is all that matters. And this is something I've been talking about a lot in the last few days, weeks, months, even in the last year, basically, is that the entire markets are driven by memes nowadays. And by him saying, okay, yeah, this is environmentally unfriendly, it actually lends the entire meme some fuel, and it's actually really, really bad in my opinion. Now, it's Elon, maybe he just says, oh shit, haha, I was wrong in a week or two, and that fixes itself. But in general, I don't like this entire thing. Not only Bitcoin, but also the traditional markets are like trading around memes, and that's a really, really strong one. The environment meme is a really, really strong one. So I wouldn't take it lightly, even if you think it's bullshit. I wouldn't take it lightly, because yeah, to a lot of people it's really significant. And you're not gonna see, like, when the rumor goes around that crypto is anti-environment, whatever, you're not gonna see as many celebrities and whatever promote it, and you're gonna see less retail get involved. So it's a bad rumor to go around. It's just depends on whether that talking point can kind of get reversed or not. It's the same for altcoins, by the way. Like, I mean, altcoins have the same impact, and we've seen some people speak about NFTs, for example, and I think that's gonna hinder people to get in. But Elon is a fucking clown. I mean, I agree. I don't like him, but I mean, he does what he does. It's just an excellent troll, basically. Elon tweet dumps us this far. Imagine what a little US regulation or sailor boy selling would do. Now, this is something that I hear a lot, right? People are like, okay, this red candle is just a Vitalik and Elon news, right? I don't necessarily agree with that. The market's been looking weak for a while now, the Bitcoin market. And you've had everyone exposed to your coins, focused on your coins, right? So while, okay, this is not like the best news or whatever, I mean, they fell on fertile ground, right? And that's super important for this kind of stuff. Like, negative news, any kind of negative news during this rally didn't really matter, right? It doesn't really matter. They only matter when the market in general is already weak. And the same is true, obviously, for positive news in a bear market. So, I mean, Bitcoin was already weak, and then you got a catalyst to kind of, I mean, I think we would have dropped regardless, but this just kind of made it quicker. And yeah, that's that. What about everyone saying alt season starts soon? I mean, alt season's been going on for a while now. I mean, even I've made a bunch of money on the altcoins, and I've been not exposed much. And then you see retail, they've been making a killing with Shiba and with all this kind of Doge stuff. I mean, This is still up 1K%, was up 2.3K%. I mean, there's been a shitload of movement in the altcoin markets already. It's just been a little bit different than the last time, whereas crypto Twitter isn't really positioned in the coins that are going crazy. But yeah. This is going to be an interesting one in general. I mean, like I said, you could make an argument for leverage wipe and then up now. And I think that argument gets a lot of justification above here, basically. So yesterday I said you need to get above here for me to flip bullish in any way, right? I was like, okay, I don't like how this looks. I want to see it above 61K for me to be certain that, okay, we're getting some upside. Now, I can kind of lower that down to like 57.8 just based on this recent drop, right? So you had an impulse to the downside. Now, if this is truly bearish, shouldn't reverse that entire drop. And even more so because that impulse was based on news, right? So that makes it that much easier, right? If you kind of secured your position, kind of took some off, now you know exactly where to kind of look whether this market has any strength or not. And I think it's going to prove its strength above 57. Anything below that, fuck it, not interested. Besides the obviously strong weekly support. And I mean, that's quite a bit away still. But I mean, there's no rush, right? Impromptu episode, yeah, I've just felt like, because I've been missing so long, right? I was gone for like 2 or 3 weeks. Felt like doing one additional one. Like Cred had to carry the last few weeks, so I felt like it's time for me to put 1 or 2 extra episodes in. Hope you guys don't mind. But yeah, ETH. Someone asked about ETH earlier. Now, whenever you get leverage swipe on Bitcoin, you're obviously gonna see it spill over in ETH. And ETH's been up only for basically as long as Bitcoin has. So it would make sense for that to kind of cool down too. Especially if Bitcoin keeps moving down, right? If it doesn't, I mean, this is just a bullish chart, right? It's not like I'm saying, okay, I'm more bearish ETH than Bitcoin, because ETH's clearly been outperforming, and it's a bullish chart. So for me, this is support. This 0.055 level. That should hold, but even if it doesn't, I mean, it's still a bull trend, far from over. And yeah, you see a sharp drop in Bitcoin, you're going to see this drop sharply, not because people want to sell ETH, but because people are going to be forced to sell. Because most people have a position in Bitcoin and ETH. And if Bitcoin drops, they're going to be forced to sell ETH as well. But I could still see this go for a little longer. Not really the place where I'm bearish. If anything, like if you're bearish Bitcoin, express this in Bitcoin. And if you're bearish ETH, for whatever reason, right, because this is a bull chart, I mean, whatever, do it on ETH, right? But I don't really see the point. Looks stronger than Bitcoin does to me anyway. Daxter, how low do you think SHIB can go? You mean this coin, Shiba Inu? Like the thing is, right? You're trading this, do whatever the fuck you want to, right? This is what a listing from Binance again at the top. This is a meme coin. In my opinion, this is going to near zero, right? I mean, you're gonna be in a year's time, you're gonna be happy you sold before it went into the 200, 300, 400 on market cap, right? As in 200 things or 300 things are above this. I think this is not gonna be a thing going around in the next few years. If you're trading this, I mean, do whatever you want to. I mean, it's at support right now, but I wouldn't want to be holding something that had this impulse. So even if you're expecting a bounce from this, and I'm like seriously saying I don't want to even make that call, right? You have support there. You have support in this area. Obviously, that was previous kind of consolidation. And even if you're expecting a bounce, complacency is the best you're gonna get, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong on that, could make a moon or whatever. I don't have a strong view and I wouldn't short it, but it's fucking hell. Like, if you're investing in this, you should really rethink your investment strategies. Trading, whatever, right? Trading, completely fine. I haven't heard the DAX say this is going to zero for a minute when GTFO. I mean, the thing is, like, this is something very obviously cash crabby. Yeah. Dogecoin's going to stick around, right? Dogecoin's not going to zero. This, very much so, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, that's my view on it. Like I said, we're at daily support. Could see some bounce. Don't expect too much. Only expect a lot if it goes above 57. Any questions to that? I don't think so, because it's super simple, but who knows? Sometimes it's simple in my head and then it isn't in reality. Nothing changed fundamentally. We'll likely be at DeFi all-time highs end of the week, whilst Bitcoin and ETH cool down. I mean, that's fair, right? I'm not bearish DeFi or whatever. Like, I've been bullish Aave for the longest time now, and it's doing really well. Right? I mean, there's nothing too bearish about this yet. Starts losing that, and I'm gonna say, okay, maybe our DeFi view is wrong. But as long as this holds, I mean, it's not too bearish. Wi-Fi, I mean, I've been chilling for a while too. It reached target yesterday, so I wouldn't want to chase this anymore. This is done for me anyway. And there's a bunch more of the DeFi stuff. I mean, even if you look at sushi, right? Yesterday. That's the wrong one. Sushi. This is the right one. Even if you look at sushi yesterday, you had this massive drop and then someone big stepped in, right? So whenever you see this big kind of volume and big kind of buying pressure come in, I mean, that's a good sign for a coin, right? So this doesn't look too terrible either, in my opinion. Let's look at it against Bitcoin. Yeah, reclaimed the range while I was gone. I mean, that's not looking bad, right? That's the same or like a similar setup to Wi-Fi, a little bit worse in my opinion, but the same setup where you could think it's gonna outperform towards resistance, right? So I'm not bearish DeFi. I'm just saying, like, I think Bitcoin's gonna cool down. And that's probably like, if Bitcoin really explosively cools down, these altcoins aren't gonna do well. But they're probably gonna do well on the bounce. What do you think about what Tesla said about Bitcoin? I mean, personally, I think, there's some truth to it, and there's a load of bullshit to it. I mean, the thing is, like, there's no way Elon didn't know what he was getting into. And it's just more of a PR stunt than anything. He's probably got like pushback from the environmentalist crowd. So he's just like, okay, let's just do it the best, like push back or like take the criticism off of us the best way we can. And that's where that kind of statement came from. I don't subscribe to the idea that he didn't know. I mean, he's crazy. He's not a person that I would personally like to be around, or like in general, he's just more annoying than anything to me. But I don't think he's an idiot. Or at least, like, I don't think he's stupid. I think he's an idiot, but I don't think he's stupid. And Bondo says, a total market manipulation case. Elon is used to do that shit always in all markets. I kind of agree. Like, he thinks he's some kind of god figure that can do whatever the fuck he wants. A lot of these market manipulation kind of rules that are around are there to protect investors and in general market participants, right? And he likes to meme about it, but in general, like, I think he's doing a bunch of shit that he shouldn't be doing. So I mean, I think he's getting this kind of god complex in the last few like year or two, which isn't healthy, and it's just going completely mental. But yeah, whatever. I mean, it's my opinion. I haven't liked the guy in a long time. Just I mean, I like what he started with, like Tesla, the entire electro car kind of movement, and I like SpaceX a lot too. But it's just, I mean, yeah, maybe you gotta be a little bit crazy to do that kind of stuff that he's been doing. What do you think of Saylor buying every time Bitcoin dumps? I mean, Saylor's just been Saylor swallowed the Bitcoin pill, right? And I mean that's good for him, good for all of us. Um, his average is still like in the 25s or something, I think. Does anyone have the updated number on where his average is? But I think it's somewhere in the 25 area, if I remember correctly, or like 20 to 25, something like that. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if he's underwater at some point just because he raises his average so much. Um, 24, 5, he just posted. Shit, I was close. That was pretty damn close. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is, right? The crazy part is, like, a large portion of the market and the market participants, like, haven't really gotten under any heat so far. And then you might be saying, hey, dude, we just dropped 10%. But I mean, historically, that's tiny, right? Even during bull markets, we've had 40% pullbacks on the regular, and people are shitting themselves, and that's not been the case, right? People are shitting themselves over 5% moves because they're over leveraged, but they're really going to shit themselves if it moves 40% down, and actually gonna consider or reconsider their crypto investments. And that's something that you need. You need to shake out the weak hands and then get in stronger ones. So I, for one, would welcome it, but the bid's been too strong so far. Something that's possible, right? So you have this head and shoulders here, whatever setup with a neckline there, and then you also have like the possibility of a bigger one. And we've seen this before. Doesn't have to play out, but I mean, if anything, really, if this kind of comes into play, right? This thing, I think the neckline is probably gonna be a good buy, or like above the neckline, where people get super fucking bearish and then it bounces. Thoughts on the super cycle? I mean, it's a nice meme, and if if you're an investor and it helps you holding, fucking go for it, right? Because you need all the kind of confirmation that you can get. As a trader, it doesn't really help you much, because you're gonna be blinded by greed and you're gonna buy every 5% down move and then get liquidated. Like, the worst part about this rally is that so many people have been losing, even on the bull side, right? Because they're over leveraging, trying to make it all back, doing stupid shit. It's not the way to go about it. Just be a little patient, give it some time. It's usually, I mean, crypto usually heads up, right? In all of our experience. I mean, in general, trajectory is up. So, I mean, no reason to panic. But if you're leveraged, I mean, fucking panic. Because, I mean, there's a way where you get taken out of the market. If you're not on leverage, there isn't. But, yeah. That happened to me yesterday, mate. Got liquidated, too noobish for this longing stuff. I mean, that's the thing, right? This market is moving in crazy ways. It's moving a shitload. The altcoins are moving a shitload. Why even go down the leverage route? Like, you don't have to. You buy ADA dip and you're up 15% on the day, right? Like, that's the kind of stuff that you do in this market when it goes this crazy. You don't have to increase risk. The risk is already ginormous, right? And then adding liquidation risk to it is just stupid. in my opinion anyway. If you're not a long time trader and you haven't been in this market for long, I mean, you don't need to do this shit. You can just go and buy spot or trade spot and you're gonna be just fine. This market is way too choppy to use leverage. Yeah, also true. So, I mean, with chopping, not a good place to use leverage if you're not really in tune. I mean, if you know that with chopping, right, you can abuse that fact and trade around it. You see that levels, like for example, here on the daily chart, that levels get disregarded a bunch. What you then do, and you know it's choppy, is you just sell as high as you can and buy as low as you can, right? And it works a couple times, and then at some point it doesn't. I mean, people can make use of that. I mean, you have market makers making a killing. Just the usual kind of up-only traders are getting fucked. And the short side probably does too. And this is something that I've been saying a lot, right? Even in bear markets, a lot of the short, like on the traders on the short side are getting fucked, right? Because in bear markets in general, and I'm not saying this is one, but in bear markets in general, what you do is like you have like the support, right? You break it, and then what happens oftentimes is you retest it, and then you go further, you fuck all of the people that shorted, and then you go down, and then you go back in it, and then you actually go down from the level or whatever. Like that kind of stuff happens a bunch of times in bear markets. In bull markets, it's literally just you go up, right? And then you have support in here, and then you go down, and then you go back up again. And very, very rarely does it like take out a low or whatever. In bear markets, you oftentimes get like lower time frame highs get taken and that kind of stuff, where shorts get wrecked as much as longs are. Bear markets are meant to fuck you over. Bull markets is just like everyone's just kumbaya, shit's going up. Very, very different. Disagree, I've had a great time. I can imagine, Cred, I can imagine. But yeah, I think that's plenty for today. I don't want to run into the up only stream, and I have stuff to do. But yeah, we talked about Bitcoin. We talked about some of the altcoins. Hate to kind of break it off before having gone through your altcoins. Like a bunch of people have been asking for something, but I mean, if you want to, we can talk about them on Friday maybe. So yeah, we'll see about that. In general, in a nutshell, what I've been saying is, I mean, this is probably going to bounce because it's at support, but it's probably going to get rejected as resistance and then head lower. The only way that I think that view of the market is wrong is if we take back 57, and that's easy to say because I mean I've been leaning on the bearish side since roughly 60. So for me, that's just being like, okay, jumping back into where I jumped out basically. So that's kind of my view on the market. It's not really complicated. It's just gonna take some time because I mean we've been chopping a lot. So yeah, I hope that helps. Shout out to Blockfolio again, the sponsor of the show. Their links are in the description if you want to check them out. They have like this portfolio tracking app, and also you can trade on there really easy on your mobile phone. So if you want to check that out, check it out. I can recommend it. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow actually. Bye bye.